My name is Ruthie Friedlander, and I'm the co-founder of The Chain and an eating disorder survivor. My first memory of really realizing that I had an uncomfortable relationship with my body, I was probably in third grade, and we were doing a round-robin reading of The Secret Garden, which is one of my favorite books. And it wasn't my turn, and I knew that it was going to be a while until it was my turn. And I remember I just kind of started looking down at my legs. It must have been spring or summer. And I remember looking at my thigh and thinking, wow, wouldn't it be awesome if I could just draw a line here from my knee up and there'd be nothing over there. And it wasn't even that I wanted to be skinnier as much as it's just I wanted to change something about my body. Like that power to be able to change my body seemed so huge. And it was really the first time that I had thought about my body in that way. And that's really when I think my eating disorder started, which was when I realized that through control, whether it was exercise or food or behaviors, I could make myself bigger or smaller or more important or less important, get people to pay attention to me or not pay attention to me. And, I could go through all of the typical eating disorder behaviors I had. When I was 15, I used laxatives, I overexercised, I would restrict food. But the truth is that for me, it was always there. The eating disorder was always there because I felt so unsafe in my own body and in my own surroundings. And until I realized that that's where it was coming from, it always kind of felt like, well, if I look okay, then I'm okay. If I don't look like I'm dying, then I must be okay. In my early 20s is probably when I started seeing health response from my eating disorder. I started getting seizures. No one could really understand why. I wasn't epileptic. I just was convulsing. I got horrible headaches and a whole series of things, and I just generally really did not feel well. And I remember I would go to all of these doctors, and I would go to, the best doctors in New York and be like, what's wrong with me? Like, why don't I feel well? And not one of them said, are you eating? What's your diet? Why have you lost all of this weight in this short amount of time? I think that it goes back to the fact that so much of my personal struggle was that I didn't look anorexic. I didn't look like the Lifetime original movies of the girl dying and looking like a skeleton. And so I didn't deserve to have the title of having an eating disorder. It wasn't until my sister got pregnant with her first child and found out that she was having a girl that I really came to terms with the fact that I needed help. I really was out of control in terms of my ability to make decisions about food or my body. And I knew that this innocent, amazing little girl was coming into the world, and I wanted her to have a chance to grow up around a healthy approach to food and a healthy approach to body. And I knew that if I wanted to have a relationship with her and a strong relationship with her, I wouldn't be able to do that unless I had that relationship with myself. So at 28 or 29, I went into a formal treatment program. I was really scared. My biggest fear at the time was that I was going to be the fattest person in the room. I later found out that that's pretty much everyone's biggest fear when they go into treatment for an eating disorder. And I did something called IOP, which means intensive outpatient. So I was there 3 times a week. And it was the first time that I had ever, in a group setting, spoken about all of these things that had gone on inside my head for almost 30 years. And it was an incredible experience. It was an incredibly uncomfortable experience. It was scary. It was annoying. It was weird. We did things like dramatic play. We were told to take slime and spread it all over when we were stressed. We were told to smell bags that smelled like lavender. All of this stuff that to me in no way made sense in terms of how I was going to get better. And after a year and a half of treatment, I was better. And that's what really brings me here today, which is that I had to kind of get out of my own head and take other people's advice and give myself over to the process in order to come to terms with the fact that I didn't need a doctor to tell me that I had an eating disorder. I didn't need to look a certain way to know I had an eating disorder. I had known the whole time that I had one. And having that validation And having a group of women, some of whom were much younger than me, some of whom were older than me, women of all body types, women who come from everywhere, talking about the same anxieties, the same thoughts that I thought were so specific just to me, was such a powerful thing for me. And ultimately, I think that group mentality, that ability to share, is really what helped me recover from my eating disorder. And while I still have days where I'm not making the perfect decision or going 100% according to meal plan, I can confidently say that there's less of my brain space being taken up by food thoughts and eating thoughts and thoughts of my size, and more space being taken up by helping the community and work and all of that stuff.